Hi there, stampers. Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. I just wanted to quickly do a video for you for the technique called triple stamping. This is a sample card. I had to do it quickly because we're almost out of fall here. So this is the card I did for my stamp club a couple of months ago, and it's been sitting on my desk to show you how to do it for a really long time. So I thought today would be a great day to do that. So basically, triple stamping is the 3 layers that look like they're all stamped, even though they've got cardstock in between them. So it's a really, really simple technique, but it looks really impressive. So what you need to do is really basically cut your cardstock ahead of time. So I'm using my card base. I've been doing the long way lately just because they take better pictures. So you're going to take your card, which this would be 4 1/4 by 11. So you just take an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of cardstock and cut it in half at 4 1/4 on the short side. So you'll get 2 long strips. So that's my card base. And then you're going to take the next layer will be the white piece, which is 4 1/2 by, 4 by 5 1/4. So that's your basic matte, 4 by 5 1/4 on that one. Then you would cut your Blackberry Bliss, is the color I'm using. That one is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then you have 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Then your next Blackberry Bliss layer is 2 3/4, 2.75, 2 3/4 by 4. And then the final layer is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. So most of the layers are actually only about 1/4 of an inch apart. I did do a little bit more on the bottom layer there and in between the Blackberry Bliss and the white, just so you can see more of the stamping. But I will put all the measurements in the video description and on my blog too when I post it to the blog. So here we have our layers. So you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers, right? So obviously it looks like I stamped just like this, but what I actually did, and this is not my own technique, by the way, this is just something I saw on Pinterest or YouTube or something somewhere, and I just recreated my own card with this technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull all the Blackberry Bliss layers out so that now I have just my white layers. And for this card, I just did random stamping. So I'm using Blackberry Bliss, Hello Honey, and Old Olive to stamp these. And my personal method for stamping randomly is to start with my biggest images first. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my green. And the real cool thing about this technique is that it's very forgiving. So when you stamp, you'll see there's going to be kind of holes in between the layers where it sort of missed. Don't worry about that because we're going to layer cardstock on top of that, so it's really not going to matter all that much. It's going to be covered by the other colors. And I sort of vary the positions the leaves are in, so I'll kind of go to the right on one, to the left on another, and just sort of move those around. So now I'm going to do the yellow one, which is the next biggest image, and I'm just going to throw that around here somewhere. We'll stamp that. The key with this is to make sure you press and hold when you stamp. If you just do a quick little hit with it, you're not going to get the full image, and it's not going to look the way you'd like it to look. So press and hold, and then lift. The other thing that I always tell everyone when they're stamping is to make sure you're doing straight down and straight up. Let's see, what way do I want this to go? How about like this? I'm actually going to put it up here a little more. Don't mind me while I talk to myself. Okay, that one. And maybe just one more little yellow spot down here. And it's okay to be not on all 3 layers. I'm just wanting to get the variety of colors throughout the page. And occasionally those layers are going to move a little bit, so I just kind of push them back as best as I can. Again, it's really not all that meticulous. with this technique because it's super forgiving once you layer it. So there's my Blackberry Bliss. I think I can fit one right in here. And then one over here. And I'm going to do just a little piece of it here. And that looks pretty good, except now it's bothering me that there's no purple over here, so I'm going to do this too. There. Okay, so there's my layers. So you can kind of see there's all the layers stamped. If you look closely, you can see how I've missed some spots, like right here. It kind of shows, but the beauty of this technique is now when I layer these on top, let's quickly tape this all together. So you're just going to go ahead and tape this here. And I did not puff any of the white on the Blackberry, but I did put dimensionals on the back of the two top layers of Blackberry Bliss. So it's flat on the card, and then popped on the other two. So I'm going to do this, like that. So now when I layer this, you're not even able to see that I missed that spot there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this one. And I always put one in the middle because who wants saggy cards, right? Nobody likes anything saggy. At least I don't. So I always put at least one, sometimes more than one in the middle, but for right now I'm just going to put one in the middle, and I'm going to layer that on top so you can start to see that coming together here. Oh, that's coming. Let me move those for you now that we're done with those. Alright, and then before I put the top layer on, I did already go ahead and stamp my So Grateful for You. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that on top here, which I could do that at the end. But the one thing that I can't do is this little embellishment. I want to make sure I do that before I tape this down. So all I did is I took a little piece of our gold sequin trim, and I positioned it up top here, and you can make it as long or as short as you want. And then I took my fave little mini stapler and stapled that at the top. And I think I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. Maybe. There we go. And one over here. So I've got that trimmed down a little bit. And then I also added one of the really cute little wooden embellishments. These are the Into the Woods wooden embellishments. They've got a little leaf, a little acorn, and here, let me put them on my hand because it's easier to see, and a little wooden embellishment. So I'm going to use the little leaf, and I'm just going to put that on with my glue dot. So I stick that right on top of the glue dot and then pull off, and it comes off on the back, and I'm just going to stick that right over that little sequin. So then I have that. Now I can go ahead and pop this up onto the other layer. Again, one in the middle so it's not saggy. We peel off the backing here. And you put that on top, and voila, you've got your finished card. Super, super simple, but really, really impressive for your guests, or not your guests, your friends and family that you send it to. All right, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.